This video is an introduction to our new feature called BioBrushes. There are several ways to use BioBrushes, and there are a few ways to access them in BioRender. The first way is simply just to search any icon type, and some of the icons may give you BioBrushes as a search result. So if I type in something like membrane, for example, you'll notice that some of the icons that show up have this little blue brush icon on top of it. And this is exactly what it means. It means that it's actually a brush or something that's a little bit more dynamic than the other icon search results. So if I were to drag out one of these brushes here, this is a membrane brush. And so if I were to drag out the last node here towards the end of my canvas, you'll notice that it adds more phospholipids instead of stretching or skewing the phospholipid bilayer. Additionally, I can actually grab the center node and make it a little bit more of a flexible or soft curve if that's important for my story. You may not need this level of flexibility, but it is there for you if you need. So that was by searching an icon and having some of the search results show up as a brush. You can also access our full library of BioBrushes simply by rolling down here to the brushes subcategory. Now, do note that for premium accounts, this is all unlocked, so you actually get access to all of our BioBrushes. On the free account, I believe that it's just the membrane and the bacterial membrane brushes that are available, but you can still test them out on our premium trial. So that's the membrane brush. If we explore a few other types of brushes, if you scroll down here, we have beautiful brushes like this string of nucleosomes. So something that's a little bit more difficult to illustrate manually. You can actually create a nice bendy shape if needed. And you'll notice that it will look a little strange for a moment as it's recalculating the angles, but when you let go of the mouse, it will snap into place. You can even skew your brush and it'll recalculate to suit that curve as well. Another type of icon that's difficult to illustrate sometimes is windy and twisty curvy DNA. So you can actually use our BioBrush to create beautiful patterns of a double helix. And I'm just grabbing this little white node that appears every so often to create a new curve or a new bend in the string, or simply grab the blue node to move the existing nodes. Great. Now another type of brush that you'll encounter are these perfectly circular brushes, and this is actually similar to how our perfectly circular lines work. You may be familiar with this already. If you come up to the insert line and the circular line option, you can create perfectly 360-degree angle circles. Now that's exactly how our circular brushes function as well. In fact, if you roll over one of the white nodes on the brush, you can actually snip it and change the length of that brush itself. So just be aware that the circular brushes do behave like our circular arrows, and our linear brushes behave like our curvy lines and arrows. Great, now let's test out the vessel brush. This is a really neat way to create dynamic vessels. Again, something that is difficult to illustrate manually. You'll notice that I pulled out the vessel and it recalculated some endothelial cells in between that curve. And I'm going to Alt drag above. And now those are facing the wrong way. So I'm just going to come up here and flip twice to make that a double surface there. And what if I wanted to make this vessel a little bit leaky? Perhaps expand this brush so that I can now individually edit those cells at a time. That is totally possible. All I have to do is come up here to the brushes option and select separate brush into editable icons. So if I click that, it will give me a little bit of a warning to say that once I expand this brush into little pieces, it won't be reversible. So I will confirm that. And it has created now a grouped icon of individual pieces. You'll see that it looks a little bit different. It's got a purple box around it, and the other brush does not. It actually has still these editable nodes, whereas those nodes have now disappeared. If I ungroup These cells, you'll see that they each have their own bounding box and they are going to behave now like independent icons. And this is great. Now I can create maybe a little bit of a break or a leak in the vessel. I can even change the color of maybe one of the icons if I want, if that's, again, accurate to your story. And let's see here. Why don't we just go ahead and finish up this drawing. The neutrophil, perhaps it's crawling along the outside of this vessel. You can add one here that's rolling, and even one that's sort of squeezing through this gap like so. Great. And now finally, for those that are working with enterocytes or the gut microbiota, we have this beautiful enterocyte brush that you can create a nice villus like so. And again, if I'm going to want to maybe create a compromise or a break in this line of cells, I may want to expand this brush like so, perhaps ungroup it. And then I can do the same thing I did with the vessel, where I'm actually creating a little bit of maybe a leak or a separation in the tissue like that. And then for this cell type in particular, we actually have a variety of damaged cell variations. So you can actually change the color to appear as if there has been some more significant damage to the cell, like so. Great, and that's a little bit of an intro into our new BioBrushes feature, and we hope you'll find it useful.